Good morning. My name is Jamie Irvin. I'm the host of the Heavy Duty Parts Report, and today we are live. So we've got an announcement to make today that's pretty exciting. But before we get into that and before we bring on my guest, I wanted to just make sure that everybody knows that if you'd like to comment and participate in the broadcast today, please do so. As always, we love it if you comment and feel free to ask any questions that you would like. So, what are we talking about today? Well, today, the Heavy Duty Parts Report page is going live on LinkedIn. That's the big announcement. And we're very excited about this. So let's talk about it. Let's bring on our guest today, Taran Hohenson, who is our video and audio specialist and our marketing manager at the Heavy Duty Parts Report. Welcome back on the show.
I'm glad to be back here, Jamie.
So last time we had you on, we were talking about the behind the scenes of how we make an episode. Today, we've got a big announcement. We got approved for LinkedIn Live for the Heavy Duty Parts Report business page. So right now, if you're on LinkedIn and you're watching us, you're on my personal LinkedIn profile. This is a big change for us because it allows us to put content directly onto the Heavy Duty Parts Report business page. It allows us to stream there simultaneously along with our Facebook page for the Heavy Duty Parts Report and our YouTube channel. It's very exciting that we finally got approved.
Yeah, that is. It's going to be nice to have everything kind of in one spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way things are going to work moving forward is when we go live and it's a Heavy Duty Parts Report interview or it's a segment on the Heavy Duty Parts Report and it's live, it's going to be broadcasted to the LinkedIn business page starting next week. It'll be broadcasted to the Facebook business page for the Heavy Duty Parts Report and the YouTube channel. And then it's going to be replayed on the heavydutypartsreport.com website. So that way, anybody, if you miss the live, you can always go back and watch it. We also made some changes to the website. So on the homepage, what we had there before, Taran, if you remember, is we had 4 videos. The last 4 videos that we had published would show up underneath of the podcast on the homepage. But it was a little bit confusing. People didn't really understand how to tune in to the live. So we've changed the homepage. Now it has buttons right there, and they're already updated where you can click the LinkedIn, go straight to the business page, click the Facebook, go straight to the business page on Facebook, or click the YouTube link and go straight to our YouTube channel. And then directly underneath of it is a replay of the latest episode. So the episode today that we're going to publish in a couple hours on heavydutypartsreport.com will be there so that people can watch the replay. You know, I think this was important, don't you, to make the user experience better?
Well, absolutely, because if you're having a hard time finding the content that you're looking for, well, then you're probably going to get frustrated or even give up if you're just having such a hard time finding it. So really, when we reorganized it all, it's just so much easier. When you go onto the website, everything's laid out nice and orderly. You know where to find it. It's going to be there every week. You don't have to search for it. And I just think that's such a better experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we've been talking a lot behind the scenes about the experience on heavydutypartsreport.com for the user, for the audience, the listener, somebody who wants to be able to tune into our content. And we've made a lot of strides in the right direction, but we had a bit of an issue with the top of the homepage. You had some friends of yours take a look at it and they didn't know anything about the industry. And there was a bit of confusion there, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely. When I first showed them our homepage, I guess I'll say that, the big title at the beginning, they didn't really understand, like, well, what do you guys do? That was a big question, because for us, like, it made sense to us, but if it was your first time on the website and you've never seen it before, yeah, I understand why that would be a little bit confusing. So that's what we decided to fix, to make it a little bit easier to identify. As soon as you hop on the front page, big title image, it explains it all. No more confusion.
Right. So we're in the process that we haven't made those changes yet, but we're in the process of changing what they call the hero section at the top of the homepage. It's going to be more explicit as to why, you know, for first time people on the site, what is this website all about, right? What is the Heavy Duty Parts Report all about, and what should they do next? Of course, we want people to listen to our weekly podcast. We also made a change to the buttons at the top. It used to say subscribe, and then there would be a drop down list, and you could subscribe to social or to different podcast players. But Apple just made a change to the language that they use, and Apple still is one of the most dominant podcast players in the world. And they said from some research that people thought that because you had to subscribe to a podcast, it meant you had to pay money to subscribe. And so they changed the language to follow, like on social media. Everybody's familiar with that, right? Follow us on social media. Nobody expects that there's going to be a bill. Everybody knows that's free. So we've changed that language, and now it says follow us. The drop-down menu has all the options where you can follow us. So if you haven't done that already, head over to heavydutypartsreport.com, click the follow button, and choose where you'd like to follow us, whether it's on social or if it is indeed on any of the podcast players that are available, and we are on a lot of them. We've also organized the content button now. So the content button, when it drops down, allows you to check out podcast interviews, check out live presentations like this one, check out exclusive webinars, and then also read past blog articles. And then we also changed the resources section recently on the site. So in the far right, the buy parts section now is there instead of resources, and you have a few options where you can go to Diesel Parts and look up parts. You can buy DPF parts direct now from dpfpartsdirect.com. You can buy recycled parts from truckpartsinventory.com, and you can buy diagnostic tools. So we're making a lot of changes right now. Things are dynamic at the Heavy Duty Parts Report. It's been exciting times, right, Taran?
Oh yeah, I've been loving it. We've been in the last few months, especially, just everything's becoming so much more organized. And as we've been kind of talking about lately, that's what it's really all about. We want to keep things specific so people, when they go onto our website, things are easy to find, and that's really going to save people in the long run too.
Yeah, and I mean, confusion, it kills deals. Complexity on websites drives people away. We want to make it easy, easy, easy. You know, when I think about the history of the show, when we started, it was a podcast. It was just me. We were doing, and I did a monthly show, and then it went to weekly. And then we got approved for live, and then we started doing twice a week. So we did the podcast on Monday and the lives like you're watching right now on Fridays. That's going to continue. But the big announcement, of course, is that we got approved for LinkedIn Live. And maybe people who don't understand what's going on with LinkedIn there don't understand why this is such a big deal. It's such a big deal because you have to actually apply, and then you have to go through an approval process, and not everybody gets approved. So we are very blessed because not only has my personal or professional profile been approved, and we've been publishing live to it for quite some time, but also our business page got approved. And actually, I think that's kind of rare. Not too many people are able to say that their own profile as well as their business page are both qualify for the live beta test that LinkedIn's doing before they roll it out to all of their users. So this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Just to keep everything that we publish for the Heavy Duty Parts Report on the Heavy Duty Parts Report page. It's going to be simpler that way. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and whatever social channel you like to follow us on. So if you're a Facebook user, you can go to our Facebook page, click that like button, and you'll be notified when we're live on the Heavy Duty Parts Reports Facebook page, right? Every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain, 12 Eastern. Same with the YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and you'll be notified. LinkedIn now, you can go to our business page, follow the page, and you will be notified. And just know that you just go to that social channel at 10 a.m. Mountain, 12 Eastern, and you'll look in your notifications bar, and there it is. And if you miss it, you can go to the homepage now, one click, and watch the video, the replay right on that homepage without having to go anywhere else. So I think we've done a good job at simplifying it, but we're not done yet. I want to talk a little bit now about content, because the Heavy Duty Parts Report, we've really tried to focus on heavy duty parts. But, you know, at times we've brought in people, we've talked about equipment, we've talked about different business topics, and us getting approved for LinkedIn Live on our business page really allows us to make the content that we do very specific. So everything on the Heavy Duty Parts Report, whether it's our podcast, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, now our business LinkedIn live page, whether we are pre-recorded and airing it at a later date, or we're doing lives like today, we can talk about heavy duty parts. We can talk about the industry, right? This kind of specific, being able to hone in on just that is also good for the listener, because I think that way there's no surprises and there's no disappointment. It's like they know what they're going to get. They're going to get some talk about heavy duty parts.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to that, especially.
Yeah, and for you, like someone who came into this industry, first of all, as we talked about when you were on live last time, you weren't part of the heavy duty parts industry. You didn't know anything about it. You also didn't know anything about video or audio editing, so you've gotten a crash course. So even from your perspective as an editor, how is it how does it make your job easier if the content is more focused?
Well, in this case, there's a little bit less, I'm just going to say, guessing of how to do things. Because I'm just going to say, the more structure you have, the easier it is for the editing, the planning, and the producing of any product that you're putting out there. So honestly, just having that set schedule and where we know things are going to be published, like for example, now that we're allowed to put everything on LinkedIn on our Heavy Duty Parts Report page, it's going to be nice to separate the two social media platforms now. So that's going to be really nice to keep things, once again, simpler.
Yeah, that's right. And even like something as simple as before, because we didn't have the ability to go live on our LinkedIn business page for the Heavy Duty Parts Report, we had to go live on my profile, and then we had to repost it on the Heavy Duty Parts Report business page. And sometimes it didn't happen. Something would come up, we'd forget, it just didn't happen. So this creates a level of consistency where when we hit that record button, it's going exactly to the right place. So all this starts next week. This will be our last Heavy Duty Parts Report live broadcast on my LinkedIn profile. From now on, if it's going to go on the podcast, it's on the podcast. If it's going to go live, it's going to go to our LinkedIn business page, our Facebook business page, and our YouTube channel. And that happens simultaneously. So we hit that live button and it's being broadcasted there. So if you want to continue to check out our weekly Heavy Duty Parts Report live broadcast, just make sure, if you're a LinkedIn user, you go over to the Heavy Duty Parts Report business page and follow that page so that you won't miss out. If you're not sure how to do that, just go to heavydutypartsreport.com, scroll down to the video section and click the LinkedIn button. That link is live now and ready to go. So what are we going to do on my business profile, my professional profile, the Jamie Irvin profile on LinkedIn, Taran? We've got some plans, don't we?
Oh yeah, big plans.
So a lot of people are curious. They're like, how does the Heavy Duty Parts Report make money? Well, we've been working towards building our audience, and definitely we want to get to a level where the show itself is able to produce revenue. So there's definitely some plans in the works for that. But primarily, the Heavy Duty Parts Report is financed by our consulting business. Just before we continue, we got a comment from Kevin. Great changes, Jamie. Congrats. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate your support, my friend. So on my profile, the LinkedIn profile that I have for me, Jamie Irvin, we're going to shift the focus and we're going to continue to broadcast live broadcasts, but the focus is going to be more in line with our consulting work. So what kind of consulting work do we do? Well, we really focus on helping heavy duty parts companies sell their physical products in a digital world. And we do that through consulting, where we do strategy and planning on business growth. business growth strategies, development of the business, development of the digital sales channel. And then we also provide content marketing services. So for our clients, we help them make content. And that could be helping them with blog articles, email campaigns, social media posts, producing videos. So we've gained a lot of experience at the Heavy Duty Parts Report producing our own show, and we're able to help some of our clients produce their own content to move that needle and for them to be able to do more digitally. So isn't it great, Taran, that we're going to be able to now be more focused on my profile and talk about the heavy duty parts and selling them in a digital world? I think that kind of focus is going to be good for anybody who tunes in. They're going to know what they're going to get. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Just splitting the two apart a little bit, but they're still going to be connected. But at the same point, when you go to each unique site, you know where you're getting.
Yeah, and that's a lesson to anybody who's watching, anybody who's following us. That's a lesson that they should keep in mind. Be very, very focused, right? One of my favorite acronyms is FOCUS, FOCUS, right? It spells the word, and it stands for follow one course until success. It is so easy to say and hard to do. Like over the last couple years, we've definitely ebbed and flowed back and forth, but we've always tried to move in that direction of trying to make things better, constant improvement, simplicity, and just really, really trying to focus on how do we serve the heavy duty parts industry and the heavy duty parts industry alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because just for the last year alone, the way we've done things, we've tested a lot of different areas. We've tried unique things that we may have cut out because it didn't quite fit. But we've been testing things, seeing what worked, what improved our quality of content, what improved the services that we're putting out there. But I feel like we came a long ways, and we continue to improve, and I'm enjoying where it's going.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that has been informed by comments that we get from the audience. Like, even if it is criticism, don't be mean, but even if it is a honest criticism, we want to hear about it, because whether it's like you're doing a great job, or hey, I couldn't find this, or this was more complicated, like that kind of feedback from the audience actually helps us to be better. Not to mention, it also informs us on what kind of content we should be making. When you're doing an interview show like we do on the Heavy Duty Parts Report, you are a little bit reliant, on which guests are willing to come on. That kind of informs what content we put out. But also, if we know what the audience is looking for, then it helps us to go out and find guests who will come on the show and talk about things that are relevant and that are, topics that need to be discussed. So definitely the feedback from the audience is a big deal.
Oh, huge. Like, for example, just with the hero image, we had no idea that maybe some people weren't really understanding what it was all about. And so as soon as we heard that, it was like, oh, we need to fix that as soon as possible. So that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we have we've got other exciting news. So we are actually hiring right now. We are looking for a web designer. We are looking for a graphic designer. We are looking for a social media assistant. So we are in growth mode. The business is going really well. And, we're looking forward to serving the audience and serving the industry at a greater capacity as the months and years go on. So that's exciting. Hey, we just got a comment here. Jamie, you guys are doing a great job and looking forward to connecting on your new consulting venture. Awesome. Well, that LinkedIn user has some security in place, so we can't see who it is, but I'm sure that we will find out soon enough when they reach out to us. So that's exciting. So all of this is good news. It all hasn't been easy though, really, Taran. I mean, we've struggled, we've worked hard, and we've had our ups and downs, haven't we?
Oh yeah. There's lots of weeks where I remember there was a few times where our schedule was looking a little bit quieter because we finished all of our client work, we finished all of our podcasts, and then we were just like, well, now what? And then all of a sudden we booked up again. So it's good. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, and I remember when I was planning on launching this show. I mean, some people know this, some people don't. I had a different podcast before the Heavy Duty Parts Report called Build a Better Business, and if you go look for it, it's gone. I've scrubbed it from the from the podcast history books. Not that I was ashamed of it or anything, but it just wasn't focused enough. And of course, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was learning as I went along. But when I think about launching the Heavy Duty Parts Report, and I was looking at what was working for other people in other industries, and I think I'll come back to this. You got to be really careful that you don't look at someone's success today and want to just step in and achieve that tomorrow, because it doesn't work that way, does it? I mean, we have worked for like coming up 2 years. Our 2 year anniversary will be June 1st, 2021. 2 years we've been at this, and you've been with the team now 15 months of that 2 years. So like it has been a long, hard road, and we've had to work, and some months you're just not sure if what you're doing is going to ever pay off, and then all of a sudden it starts to pick up a little bit of speed and you think, yay, it's working, and then it dips again and you're like, oh man. So a bit of a roller coaster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like now we're so busy. That's why we're looking for some new help.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something in podcasting. I've heard a lot of people talk about, because I, of course, as a podcaster, I follow a couple groups that are just dedicated to podcasters themselves, and we're in these groups together. We share best practices, but I hear this thing, and of course, as Canadians, we love this analogy, but the hockey stick curve, right? So you have this long, flat period of time as you're building, and then you get to the curve of the hockey stick and things start to go up, and I think we're just at the bottom of that curve up. Like things are just starting to trend up. I think back in October, we were only getting about 10,000 impressions. And then all of a sudden by January of 2021, it was 25,000 impressions. And we've been really consistent. And I think we're going to start to see in Q2 and Q3, I got a feeling those numbers are going to start to really skyrocket, because every episode, it just seems like it's growing and we're hitting new records and new records. So that's exciting.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. I know every week on our weekly content meeting that we have, we get to look at some of those numbers, and it's crazy to see how fast it is growing. But I enjoy seeing that.
But anybody who's watching, just don't forget that I podcasted for 2 years with almost no results with a first podcast. I shut it down. And then I started the Heavy Duty Parts Report. And then we went for another almost 2 years before we got to a level of success. So, I've been grinding at this thing for coming up 4 years, and it's just now starting to work. So I certainly don't want to discourage anybody, though, for getting involved in digital content. It doesn't matter what level you're at. If you work in parts, if you're a salesperson, if you're an executive, if you're representing a company, if you're representing yourself, the sooner you start, the sooner you learn, and you can get better, right, Taran?
Oh, absolutely. And the way things are going today, digital is everything. So the faster you can get on that train, the easier it's going to be for you.
Yeah, and we got another LinkedIn user. Bring on the parts. Yes. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is my wife and I are trying to find some real estate, because we want to at some point in the not the immediate future, but the near future, we'd like to be able to find a place that would accommodate a larger studio. And I love this comment from this one user saying, bring on the parts, because I have a vision in my head of the parts counter and a full studio where we can actually do a much better job of breaking down some of the technical aspects of heavy duty parts on the Heavy Duty Parts Report. That has always been part of the dream. And so that's why I'm excited that we are getting some momentum. Things are starting to really pick up. And this will enable us to be able to take the show to the next level. So don't think that we have stopped innovating, stopped changing, stopped striving for better. I think that's going to be a mainstay of our efforts going forward. Don't you agree, Taran?
Oh, considering the changes we've made over the last year, I can't even imagine what's going to happen next year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let's just hope that we can continue doing things the right way, and that we continue making progress. We don't stumble, because that does happen. But if it does, we will do our best to pick ourselves up and keep going. So
we'll be ready.
Yeah, we'll be ready. That's right. So I just want to conclude. So everyone who's on LinkedIn right now, just keep in mind that next week, if you want to tune into the Heavy Duty Parts Report live next week, please go and follow our business page. And you can do that by going to heavydutypartsreport.com. Scroll down to the video section underneath the podcast section, and there is a LinkedIn button. You can't miss it. Click that, and you'll be able to follow us on the LinkedIn business page for the Heavy Duty Parts Report, because that's where we're going to be live next week. If you want to learn more about selling heavy duty parts in a digital world, keep following me on my professional profile on LinkedIn, because that's where you're going to start to see some live broadcasts where we're going to discuss that very specific topic. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
All right. Well, Taran, two-time guest on the Heavy Duty Parts Report Live. So happy to have you. We're going to have you on a recurring basis as we discuss different aspects of the heavy duty parts industry and our show. So don't worry. You're going to be back.
Oh, I like coming on here and just talking with you for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send you a lighting kit though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's my next step.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, thanks, Taran. Really appreciate you being on the show. And we will talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Jamie.
And that is, I'm just, see, now we're live and we're having technical difficulties here. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week of the Heavy Duty Parts Reports live presentation. As we've been talking about, next week, you will find this live presentation only on the heavydutypartsreport.com and our LinkedIn business page, Facebook business page, and YouTube channel. So if you want to continue to tune in to the Heavy Duty Parts Report, just go to heavydutypartsreport.com and you will be able to follow us and stay up to date with all of our content. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, and I hope you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you real soon.